You're listening to the Friday edition of the Shed Geek Podcast, brought to you by Shed Geek Marketing. At Shed Geek Marketing, we've assembled a hand-picked team of specialists from across the shed and portable building industry to help manufacturers, dealers, and service providers grow smarter and scale faster. From websites and SEO to Google Ads, meta campaigns, content creation, video production, lead funnels, systems integrations, and industry-specific lead gen tools, we help businesses build real momentum instead of chasing random marketing trends. Today, Shed Geek Marketing is holding down this title sponsor spot at the top of the show, but this could just as easily be your company, featured right here in front of thousands of industry professionals, business owners, and decision makers every single week. If you'd like information about title sponsorship, podcast advertising, or our 2026 Shed Geek Media Kit, reach out to us at info@shedgeek.com. And now, on to the podcast. Welcome back to another episode of the Shed Geek Podcast. I'm your host, Cord Cook, coming to you from another beautiful, sunny, dry day here in Southern Illinois. I just saw this morning that we're apparently 12 and a half inches off of our average rainfall. So, it looks like it could be a dry summer as soon as the heat really turns up. So be praying for the farmers here in the tri-state area. If you're out there, we need it. We need some rain. And we're going to need some help here as all the crops start to grow. Today, I am joined by Pro Shed Builder, aka Jeremy Yoder, the dancing shed builder, always with his jigs, having fun on Facebook, having fun putting out videos, growing an audience, doing such an awesome job. And I so look forward to talking to him today and sharing some practical advice on what it means to capture content, what it means to show your personality, through a screen and connect with those viewers. And for everyone listening, of course, connect with those customers. So I'm looking forward to this so much. But before we get rolling, just a couple quick things. As you all know, to stay plugged in with us here at Shed Geek, the phone number 618-309-3648. Of course, that is Shannon's cell phone. So please feel free to call or text him any time of day or night. He loves when I say that. Email us, info@shedgeek.com, or fill out a contact form on www.shedgeek.com. We always encourage everyone to go and participate on the Facebook pages. In particular, Shed Sales Professionals Group. It does such a good job of sharing information. So go and check that out. And for anyone who has friends, neighbors, acquaintances in the plane community, please let them know the call-in line, 330-997-3055. And if you hear that call-in line, we know that we were a little muffled. Something about the feed was not great there for a couple months, maybe even, and we did not realize it. So please, if you are hearing my voice muffled and you can make it out, please give us a call and let us know if we have got that fixed. So, quickly, just want to talk about our exclusive CRM providers of the Shed Geek Podcast and the Shed Geek Media Network. You all know that's Velocity 360, Joe Ignis, Brandon Tobin over there. They're doing such great things. New white papers, new studies out. They are absolutely hitting it out of the park, getting results, which is the whole point here. Velocity 360 is a salesman first business. They know what works. They know how to close, and they help you and your sales team convert more leads in less time without the common headaches of sifting through spreadsheets or notepads, which of course is always my preferred method here whenever we're taking quick notes for a podcast. Don't be like me. Get those things into a CRM. And best of all, this is a turnkey solution, fully configured out of the box with workflows, automations, and reporting that are all proven to work in the industry. And you don't have to worry about what system you are moving over from. It is a true white glove experience with Joe and Brandon and those guys. They're going to migrate that data in. You will have your contacts. You will have your prior sales. All your data is safe, and it is delivered to you in that turnkey solution. So, having said all of that, my guest today, Jeremy Yoder, a.k.a. Pro Shed Builder, out of Seneca. Oh, yeah, that's a good-looking logo. for all of you listening, be sure to go to YouTube real quick and check out the video. Jeremy has a great looking T-shirt with his logo on it here, out of Seneca, South Carolina. Independent builder. Looks like you build for Genesis out there in one of their bays. Man, I have been such a big fan. In fact, I'm probably, whatever they call it, geeking out, I suppose, trademark, geeking, geeking out, because I'm a fan, Jeremy. Like I started watching your videos, gosh, I don't know, 6, 8 months ago, maybe even. I think I was one of the early adopters, and just really have enjoyed, um, not just the content and the builds and everything else, but just the way that your personality, and I think even more so lately, probably the last 2 or 3 months, you've really started to be like, you know what, like I'm me, my followers, the viewers like me, and like you're really injecting yourself into it. And it's great, man. It's so good. So I don't want to steal all the thunder. I know that you're excited about all this too. So I'll quit geeking out and give you a chance, Jeremy, to introduce yourself. And tell us, man, how have you wound up as the pro shed builder?
Dude, I have no clue. I don't know why I'm here. I don't know how I'm here, but we're here. Um, yeah, I basically just a shed builder, Shed builder with a phone camera. That's what I am.
Well, that's awesome, man. I mean, it's I think that people get the impression that, content creators, and you do it at a high clip. I mean, I feel like, you tell me, is it 5 a week? Are you
I I currently don't have a schedule. It's kind of my ADHD as long as
That's a
some days,
superpower.
yeah, some days it's a superpower. Some days I film 2 or 3 videos and then I edit those out through the week. So I try and do at least three, three short form videos per week, something like that.
Well, I mean, it obviously, three is, for people out there listening, I remember when, oh gosh, I don't know, 2015, 2016, um, there's a company over in Paducah, Kentucky, Socially Present, a great company, marketing company, and kind of their big premise, and they were kind of ahead of the game back then, was that um, they would do X number of social media posts. They would basically do social media management. And back then, probably three or so was the standard of business back then. Obviously, since then, we've gotten to where, I mean, even us, we're probably putting out, I don't know, 7, 8, 9 a week, just to kind of keep that beat. Now they're all different styles, but I think the thing that's important, Jeremy, is even if that number's three, maybe it's five some weeks, it's not necessarily scheduled, but you're just aiming at three as a sort of keep it in front of people. The content that you're putting out does not have to be super high volume to be very impactful. I mean, I feel like you're in my life on like a day-to-day basis, because I'm seeing something, I'm coming across it. And
Yeah.
so learning something, even, obviously you do some where you're almost showing a particular feature or a particular design element. So like what is your so you aim at three. I guess maybe give us a little, um like, do you feel like performance wise, that's like the floor that you need to hit? Do you feel like there's a ceiling? Like what do you notice about volume versus just making sure that it's all the good stuff that happened in your week, whether it's three or 30?
Um, Shoot. As far as ceiling, I would say there is no ceiling. If you want to post 10 times a day, that would probably be best.
Yeah.
Just as long as, yeah, it's half decent quality, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Bare minimum starting out, you should probably do 4 times a week, something like that. Just getting started. Once you get it rolling, you can kind of scale back a little bit. Or like it's generally not a good thing to scale back. Like obviously you want content in front of people's faces so they don't forget you.
Right.
But also like you don't want to be so much on their feed that they're like, ah, get rid of this guy, whatever. So you do kind of have to have a balance to where yeah, you're not just overloading people.
Do you feel like you have the word algorithm gets thrown around and it's accurate, right? I mean, these are algorithms. They are, a series of, it's a mathematical function that is adding up a bunch of different factors about
Yeah.
engagement, and about, at this point, the interest graph, which is what all the short form vertical videos are using, which is basically saying, you know, does this person's interest overlap with this person's interest? And it doesn't have to be a defined interest like shed building. You know, obviously, whenever you grow a following, you find out that it's not about the shed building; it's about the um, DIY-ness of it, or it's about watching other people do blue collar work, right? It's about understanding how these things happen. Doesn't matter whether it's a steel mill or a shed factory.
Yeah.
Like it's about people just want to kind of learn and understand. Um, so whenever you are, whenever you're kind of considering, um, what a week looks like, or what to capture. I mean, do you just, tell me kind of your approach to it? Is there a phone running all the time, or is it like you realize like, okay, here's a good little nugget that will be different, or that will be this or that?
That's a good question. It it so about 6 months ago, I hired a helper to help me, and before that, I was in a bay all by myself. And so I could basically when I was in a shed or when I was in a bay by myself, I would be live on TikTok or YouTube. Um, 10, 11 hours out of my day. It was just live streaming the whole time. That's
Mhm.
basically where I grew my following. On TikTok and YouTube was going live. That was real raw. That's kind of where I got that is where I got used to being in front of a camera, used to interacting with the chat. Um, but ever since getting a helper, it's been really hard to like schedule shed builds because now I'm in charge of paying somebody. Basically, I have an employee, and so we have to hit a certain threshold for me to make money and for him to make money, and for it to be worth it for him to stay around. And obviously,
Time.
uh, filming a shed takes an extra hour. Takes me an extra hour, hour and a half, depending on how big it is. Just moving the camera around, trying to get the right angles to where it's entertaining, talking to the camera, saying something to the camera 5 times because I keep screwing it up. So as far as scheduling, recently it's been very hard to do, but I will get a stack of sheds and usually one or two of those sheds, I will be like, okay, this one seems pretty easy to video the paint, or just do a full shed build. Um,
Right.
and then like I'll have 2 sheds out of the week that I'll usually schedule something for those. And then the rest of the sheds we'll just build them without a camera. And then there's about 2 more times during the week where I just allow myself to, hey, I just got this shed done. I'm about to hop on the mule and pull it out. So I'll film a quick video of, hey, I just got this shed done. Like, let's pull it out, do a
Easy.
little dance, something
Like,
like
yeah.
that.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly. The jig, like you always say.
yeah. So there's about two sheds that I usually in my head I try and bookmark those for, hey, let's get some content on these sheds. And then randomly throughout the week there'll be two, three times where I'm like, this is a good opportunity, let's capture something.
Right.
Um,
And are you
yeah,
doing most of that off the cuff? Or are you kind of doing that even in the planning phase for the week? You're kind of thinking through this style, this size, this color, this trim, like, or you're just kind of like, as the days are coming, you're just bookmarking it on the fly.
I wish I was planned out like that. Um, the company I work for, Genesis, it's sometimes they don't like, yeah, sometimes they throw in some rush orders, and so uh it kind of screws up my plan sometimes. And obviously Genesis comes first, and so yeah, some weeks that threshold of content doesn't always get hit. Um, but yeah, it's mainly off the cuff. That's basically what it is.
Ready to take your rent to own to the next level? RTO Smart is the all-in-one web-based platform built to simplify and streamline your entire rent-to-own operation. Designed by experts who know the rent-to-own industry inside and out, RTO Smart brings contracts, payments, customer accounts, reporting, and more into one centralized system, so your entire rent-to-own workflow can finally live under one roof. Whether you're a rent-to-own company replacing outdated software or a manufacturer managing your rent-to-own program in-house, you'll gain the control, visibility, and efficiency you need to take your operations to the next level. And when you need support, you'll work with the same knowledgeable people every time. Experts who know the industry inside and out and who know how you operate. Upgrade the way you manage rent to own. Visit rtosmart.com to book a live demo today.
This episode is brought to you by ShedSuite, the complete shed business management software. From inventory and quoting to e-commerce and delivery scheduling, ShedSuite keeps your whole operation running smoothly. Today, leading shed businesses are focusing on digital marketing and building their online presence because that's where the customers are. That's why ShedSuite now offers full-service marketing. Everything from ads, social media, and SEO to stunning websites, branding, video, and even photography. The best part? Your website pulls straight from your ShedSuite inventory. Update it once in ShedSuite and it's live. No more managing two systems like with WordPress or WooCommerce. Ready to grow? Go to ShedSuiteServices.com to learn more and schedule a call. Let's grow together.
Well, I think that's a lesson in and of itself. Like people who are do my job or are in my position, who are kind of doing marketing and then media planning and messaging and all these things where like we want to have a spreadsheet or a
Mm,
doc or something for everything. And like the lesson that I keep taking, and I mean you're basically saying it in a probably like a calmer tone, but like Gary V or these kind of people who are just like just do it, right?
yeah.
Just
Yep.
just set up the camera, just capture it, like just make yourself actually capture the video, and like the rest of it starts to like gain momentum.
Mm,
It doesn't have to be some overly scripted, overly directed thing, and like, and so even down to like the scripts or what you're saying. I mean, even down to that stuff, you're just like, okay, in the moment, this is what I'm feeling. Like, I mean, that's all the same type of a deal?
yeah. I haven't scripted one thing. Yeah, it's all off the dome. I low key treat it like I'm I have a new helper,
Yeah.
and I'm talking to my helper.
How would I
Looking.
explain this? How would I
Yep.
explain this to somebody in a way that's like accessible enough that they
Hmm.
get it, but also has enough information that they find value in
Yeah, for sure.
it?
Yep.
Like not crazy, pretty
Yeah.
straightforward.
And yeah, you got to keep it engaging as well. Can't draw it out too long or else people like to swipe. So
Yeah.
yeah, you got to give them just enough information and then yeah, keep it moving. And yeah, it's kind of how I train also. I basically give a rough overview and then I kind of do it and say, do the next wall just like this. And so
I'm right
yeah,
here. Yeah.
looking back at it now, I do kind of treat it like I'm talking to a brand new helper. Like whenever I'm doing like explanations of like, hey, this is how you build a wall, this is how you add a truss. Yeah.
Well, I mean, look, so how, I don't want to, not everything is age or whatever, but being native to like the digital world, being native to the tools, having consumed it for yourself, I presume, and kind of being like a consumer of content at the same time. I mean, this is just a young person's game. How old are you, Jeremy?
I'm 27 right now.
So you're right at like the top end of, are you at the bottom end of the millennials or the top end of the next? Don't know.
Dude, I have no clue.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter. What matters is like, um, again, like to these companies, and I think there are several companies and listeners out there, even independent builders, like you, haulers, I mean, up and down the list. Um, this having people who are native to the technology and then who, whether from um, just sort of forcefully breaking yourself in like you did and just going live and it's raw, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Would you say you were comfortable in front of a camera before that or no?
I would say I was decently comfortable. I wouldn't say there was much shyness about it. No.
Right, right.
Uh, yeah.
But like those characteristics are just, this is what make, these are the ingredients, that make for a personality that is, I think quickly growing a following. What are you, do you know, like up to the day or week, what the count is at this point? Followers?
Across all platforms, it's about like 345, 350.
That's awesome. That is
So
awesome. So that's
yeah.
TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. Are you a X Twitter user?
No.
No, those four.
I've got a threads. It automatically posts the threads, but I don't even know what threads is. So I've got a lot of content on there, but I don't even have the app or have never looked at it.
They're trying to get it going by automatically posting to it.
Yeah, I don't think like engagement's not very good there. I went on it once and engagement's pretty low, but I also don't respond to any comments or whatever.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, this is just, in any case, like I don't want to harp on it too much, but like, the third party experience. I mean, you're not actively on your videos. I mean, you will every now and then say, get a hold of me to order or something like that, right? But like you are certainly
Yeah.
presenting yourself as pro shed builder, the guy, the third
Mhm.
party, not this, not this company, not this corporation, but just that sort of third party appeal of being a person who's out here doing the job. Who else would you want to hear from? They don't want to
Yeah.
hear from me who's got some polished pitch about why, this and that are superior features and quality down the board, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
it is about that third party um piece of it. So maybe I'm also just so curious about your take on um as a builder, right? I mean, obviously you're making content and like um I want to make sure that people understand that side. But then as a builder, like how are you feeling like the industry is moving? We continue to see more custom builds, as you said, maybe you get a rush order. More custom builds that are coming in, more features, more benefits, more full build outs. I think you do like fully built like tiny home style buildings out there in Seneca, right?
Yeah, the company Genesis, we build the shell, and then there's a company about 30 minutes that they do the turnkey whatever
Right.
types. Yeah.
So how do you see the sort of, I mean, I think there's always going to be, your 10 by 16, right? Like there's always going to be the storage shed because we're always going to need a place for our shovels and everything in the backyard, lawnmowers. But like, what are you seeing from a shed builder side? I mean, how do you feel like the industry is progressing right down to the builds themselves?
It's definitely progressing. You can tell like people the climate right now is people just want more or less. They want a cheaper shed. They want something that will hold their tools, hold their lawnmower. They don't want to pay for like extra shutters or whatnot.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's kind of the climate here in South Carolina right now, but also um there's like two sides of it. There's like, yeah, we want a shed for cheap. It doesn't matter what quality it is. But then there's like, hey, we want to fully build out. I need an office. I need a home studio. Can you have it fully insulated with electrical and then like put paneling on the walls? Like, um, yeah, I have seen a lot more of that in the last like 3, 4 years. Ever since COVID, it's just been the market for a fully finished shed is a lot more,
Yeah.
as far as fully insulated, whether they're doing a home office, a gym, just extra space in the backyard. Uh,
It's
yeah.
almost two sides of the same coin, right? Like your maybe what were middle tier customers,
Hmm.
now like, slid down and just want kind of like no frills, no this, none of the extras, whatever else. Like they
Hmm.
just want the payment, they just want whatever the cheapest price is. But I think in a lot of ways it's the same thing that's happening on the high end of sheds. Like
Correct.
those aren't like, $8,000 shed customers that are now interested in 12 and 14,000 and 16 and 18 and $20,000 sheds. Those are people who would have been post frame customers or would have been, some other, traditional construction, right? They would have called a GC and now they're actually sliding down into the top end. I mean, do you feel like that's an accurate, at least across the South? I don't want to speak. I know the Northeast has always had like that architectural kind of style up there, but like, do you feel like, are you getting that same sense that it's people who economically, just given the times that we're in, dude, I filled up my car and, it was $90. I was like, what? This has always been a $40, $45 adventure for me, uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
but like, do you think that I'm reading that the right way? Like whenever
Yeah.
you're seeing them come in?
Yeah, that's actually, I've never thought of it like that. Like someone who would get a general contractor, build them a stick post frame building. They're in a way going down a step. Also, I think the appeal of having it delivered to your house, where you don't have someone in your backyard for 2.5 weeks working on
If
something.
you're lucky, if you got a good general contractor,
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
know,
you don't have people using your bathroom, using your whatever. I mean,
right?
hopefully they'd put a porta potty on there, but still, yeah, just the appeal of being able to have something that nice being delivered, um, kind of speaks to the convenience culture as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I
And
think
then
so.
also like your middle tier shed, they're just give me a shed. Like it doesn't have to be anything fancy, anything nice. I just need something that'll work, that'll last. Um, yeah, as long as it'll hold my lawnmower and won't fall apart in the next 50 years, I'll be good.
Yeah, right, right. No, I think you're very right about that. So then maybe just based on your own sort of, professional opinion on the actual build side, we've been pretty seriously considering, putting together. We've drafted some standards. We've been having some collaboration on that from several builders across the country, and I'd honestly be happy for you to take a look and be one of them as well. But we've been thinking about coming up with what that sort of minimum quality standard for each of those kind of tiers of sheds should look like. So, I mean, do you feel like there are certain points of craftsmanship or material points, that just, kind of intrinsically for the customer you're talking about, a customer who just wants the shed no frills, like what would you say is the standard that, like, what should be the standard on the floor system? Does it have to be? I know you always build with notched runners. Does it have to be notched runners? Does it have to be 2x6s? Does there have to be a double, in joist? Like, what's your, like, and the walls and the vents and everything? Like, what do you think are the top 5 things that truly make sure that even if it is a no frills shed, you're still delivering a good quality product that you want to stand behind?
Yeah, I mean, first thing would be the floor system. Having a quality floor system, that is where your shed starts.
Yeah,
Yeah,
literally and figuratively.
yeah, exactly, exactly. And that is the failing point of most sheds is the floor rotting. Due to it being uh um not high quality subfloor,
Yeah,
using poor quality subfloor, and then 2x4 framing on your flooring. That's if it's an 8 wide, you can get away with it, but 2x6, 10 and above is, yeah.
that's basically exactly what the standards that we've drafted. I mean, so like, it feels like there's a lot of agreement on the broad strokes of some of
Mhm.
these things. It's just, then people will um start to nitpick. Oh, well, so what do you think is so if you're using 2x6s, how wide can you space your joists? Everybody mostly says 16, right? I mean,
Yeah.
that's fairly standard, but I think that then most people would also say that 12 or that 24 is like still plenty. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it just, I mean, it depends what the use case is. And I've
Mhm.
heard people go all the way down to 12 whenever you're thinking of, whenever you're thinking of putting a lawnmower or using it as a more garage type of a setting.
Yeah.
Um, so it all depends. But, and I've heard opinions from, in different directions, but, I think coming around to, what those kind of, call it A and B standards, and then maybe A plus is more like your tiny home,
Mhm.
home build type of standards. It just seems important to me for the customers, in particular, because similar to, how your content is just very accessible and straightforward and, isn't confusing, right? You're just saying enough. To me, the customer really needs a way to cut through and just have right on the corner of the shed itself or the advertisement, just a little, A rating
Mhm.
from whatever that trade organization, might be. I mean, do you
Mhm.
feel like that is, I feel like you've got a good sense of like what the general consumer,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you're building a good following and you're putting out good stuff. Like, what do you think? What's your sense of like what those consumers are kind of looking for? That makes sense.
Yeah, it does make sense. And I could see having a governing board with the ABC type of shed. That would definitely be helpful.
If you were maybe a well, Genesis, if you're the kind of company that's talking directly to consumers, like
Mhm.
what do you feel like the consumer is looking for in that sense? Because I've always thought that it was basically trust, right?
Yeah.
And like you are building trust with these people. Like you've got trust that's being built with 345,000 people that
Mhm.
companies would love to have.
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
So like what's your sense of like what is that general consumer, general person like what do they want to be told about? Not just, not just a generic this or that, but even whenever you're picking what to show, what do you feel like the consumer actually finds interesting and gets views and gains followers?
Yeah. Um, I think trust would be a big thing, and then just openness about how things are done. Um, yeah, just being like, we don't flash our windows. Like we caulk around all our windows, or our windows don't get any caulk. There's some companies that don't caulk around any windows, and yeah, that's a point of failure when it comes to yeah, your shed and water getting in, and ventilation. If there's not enough ventilation and your windows aren't caulked, there's moisture, there's going to be some mold, especially down here in the south, like stuff like that. But what the customer is looking for is basically like trust. I think, yeah, transparency and having a good what's it called, warranty. Yeah, that's they're at Genesis. We have like a 7 year, and so I that goes a long way as well.
That'd be just about, I mean, top, just about the top in the country. I think you see some
Yeah.
people who are saying eights and tens on like limited now, but as far as craftsmanship and the
Hmm.
structure itself, I think that is right in line with pretty well the top warranties that are being offered out there.
Hmm.
Um, so maybe, we're encouraging people to kind of get in front of the camera and start to build that trust, and start to, build that following.
Hmm.
Maybe walk us through just exactly like what are the tools you already kind of said, a cell phone camera. And I mean, like whenever you're thinking about doing this setup and how to make it approachable to
Hmm.
just your kind of average shed builder, average shed company, like what does that setup look like, and how, like walk me through the actual process. What are you setting up, and you're literally just hitting record on the camera. You're going straight into TikTok because it has those functions where you can then do some editing. Like
Hmm.
let us understand and make it a little more approachable, to those who maybe are a little intimidated by it.
Yeah. It's super easy. I got a tripod from thrift store, and just an iPhone. Started on an iPhone 11. It's pretty good quality camera.
Yeah.
So basically, you just set it up, you get a good angle, you push record, and
Right into your camera app.
yeah,
Like
right into your camera app. If you are wanting to do some like time lapse, more like just full shed builds, you're not going necessarily going to need a mic. But all you like once you start getting into like explaining what's going on more than like 4 feet away from the camera, you're gonna want to get a microphone, just a normal lav mic that can hook into the bottom port of your phone. Just hook it right to your shirt.
do you have one of the fancy, like the Rode mics? Do you just have one, like they got some great ones on TikTok now?
Yeah, I just got a TikTok shop one. I think it was 65, $70.
Right.
So a very, very low entry point. Um, and yeah, you don't even have to have a great tripod. Like mine, I
You're
should
still
get a new
rocking
one.
with the thrift store
Yeah, I should
tripod.
get a new one, but it was $7 from the thrift store, and it works for me now. And if it falls over and breaks, I'm good. But yeah, it's very, very low point of entry. I would say about $100 for a say a $40 tripod and a $60 mic. And that is basically all that you need.
So then whenever it comes, I know the thing that can get a little more daunting is then once you've got your video, once you've got your audio, the actual time to edit then becomes a little bit of a daunting task sometimes, right? Like
Yeah.
so the entry point on cash, on just the stuff you need is very low.
Mhm.
Maybe like what should people expect on just that sort of 3 to 5 short form videos a week? How much time do you think you're winding up spending in the editing process, and kind of like how intimidating is that?
Mhm.
Like, just kind of like how did you walk through that at first? And I'm sure you've gotten better at it over time, but like maybe talk them through a little bit of that side.
Yeah, so the editing is definitely that is the part that you never see. You never well, you can see if it's a good edited video or not, but
Right.
yeah, that's the part people don't talk about is editing. Clipping it all, clipping a 3 to 4 hour shed build into a minute long, yeah, minute and a half long short form video. That um yeah,
That's probably like what I mean. I know
it's
how
like
long it would take me, which would
mhm,
probably be like 2 or 3 hours,
yeah,
right? To
for
like
sure.
choose which of those things and set up, especially if you're doing time lapse and you're trying to like like make you zip around. And I
Yeah.
mean, and I'm not like a professional, I just kind of I just stayed at a Holiday Inn last night, as that's an old joke. But
Like
I mean that would take I've done it quite a bit, and 2 to 3 hours on a video like that is probably minimum, right? Am I right about that?
yeah, something like that. Yeah, usually combing through 3.5 to 4 hours of content, you're looking at about right around 3 hours of editing, polishing it, making it like, yeah, making it look nice, making it all mesh well together. Yeah, because I don't have a script. Sometimes it does, like editing does take a little longer because I say something 2, 3 times, and so I have to figure out which time was the right time.
Right,
And
right.
um, but yeah, editing would definitely be the hardest. Not as far as like hard skill wise, but just time consuming hard.
Yeah.
Setting out time for that and being a shed builder, getting paid per shed is kind of tough because it's like sacrifice time at home with the family or sacrifice 3 hours, which is half a shed. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. And so that would be the tough part would be the editing. And then as far as learning how to edit, just put into YouTube, put into TikTok how to edit, like, and then just
Do you have like a preferred, like user friendly, something that's not too intimidating software, or do you use one of
yeah,
like the
I
big
use
builders?
I use CapCut.
Yeah.
It's pretty easy for the short form content that I use. I can do everything on my phone, or yeah, short form content that I do, I use my phone application for CapCut. I've tried it on the computer. It's just a little bit tough to
It's
do.
glitchy, isn't it? It's not
Yeah,
even
for
like
sure.
it's not even really the same app. It's
No.
honestly it's frustrating.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
acts like it is. It'll let you set up a template and everything. And then as
Mhm.
soon as you get on the like, desktop or laptop version, it just is like it acts like it doesn't even exist. Anyway,
Yeah.
that's like an insider's view of the frustrations that are in putting some of this together.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Just your phone app CapCut. Some people like the TikTok editing plat software is pretty good. Um, it's just kind of annoying when you're uploading it because they'll watermark it if you don't post it. And so that's
Yeah.
why CapCut is my preferred method.
The paid
It's
version that doesn't have because CapCut will watermark too, but it's like what? It's like $9 a month or something. Is that right?
no, the free version you can export videos without
Oh, okay,
any
okay,
watermark.
okay. I got you.
There's a little like 2-second clip at the end. If
Okay,
how to tell if someone's a new content creator is they'll leave that
leave it on.
2-second clip. Yeah, just delete that. There's no need for it.
That's right. That's right. That's
But
what I was thinking.
When it comes to building something that lasts, every detail matters. At First Choice Metals, we proudly support the shed, carport, and pole barn industries with durable, high-quality steel roof panels, siding, and trim accessories built to perform and made to last. Every product we offer is American-made, with craftsmanship and finish you can see in every panel. More builders and homeowners are choosing metal roofing and siding for a reason. It offers superior durability, a longer lifespan, and improved energy efficiency compared to traditional materials. At First Choice Metals, our mission is simple. We provide exceptional products for your building projects and deliver service you can count on. Because being your metal building component supplier means more than just making a sale. It means being there every step of the way. First Choice Metals, built for strength, backed by service.
Introducing the Challenger, the revolutionary new shed mover that's taking the industry by storm. The Challenger features a touchless design, ensuring it only makes contact at the end of the skids and the bottom of the floor joists, so rest easy knowing your gable walls will remain pristine. Worried about reliability? Fear not, the Challenger is always up for the challenge and will not overturn or scuff your shed. Harness the power of innovative wireless technology. Remotely control the Challenger via your smartphone. No cell service needed. And guess what? The cell phone remote comes standard with every Challenger at no extra cost. Featuring floating forks, a 4-directional tilting mast, and sliding weight transfer, move the shed weight precisely where you need it to get ultimate traction. With self-loading capability, straight onto your truck, say goodbye to the need for a hydraulic carriage. The Challenger makes your job easy and more efficient. Choose from 2 machine sizes, 10,000 pounds and 15,000 pounds. Perfect for any job. Visit www.shedchallenger.com or email us at info@shedchallenger.com or call or text 828-220-3508 for more information. Experience the future of shed moving with the Challenger.
So are you bothering to like do any variation differences? Because this is one of the things. If you're in like this whole marketing world, people then start to tell you like, oh, well, you really need a variation for TikTok and a variation for Facebook and a variation for YouTube. They're slightly different audiences, but like I'm of the opinion that if it's genuine at this point, the interest graphs are going to find your audience.
Correct.
Now tell me if I'm wrong. Like, are you making variations or not really?
So on some videos, I do make variations. It's mainly for monetization guidelines. On
Right.
TikTok, it has to be a minute long to get paid. And so I will make a minute long video. And then if I'm uploading it to Facebook, so if it's a good quality video and everything's in there like a minute 20, I'll just post it to all my platforms. But if it's like a video where there's some filler or it's not sped up, just to reach that minute mark, I will then, after I get that minute video, I will go back in and clip it down to where
Yeah.
a 40-second video I take it from a minute down to 40 seconds
Yeah.
in some cases because I don't have to have it a minute.
Yeah.
And they'll perform better on Facebook and YouTube. It just keeps retention rates. So there are some things like that I do. Yeah,
Have
I
slight
do
variations, but
cater to.
you're not thinking about, what some of the like agency people would say would be something to the effect of almost having like A, B, and C versions in a script, and like you're changing the tone and you're changing the pacing and all that stuff. I mean, sounds to me like you're kind of creating, if looking at it, and I know just from doing this that you start to get a feel for it. Like, okay, this one, if I just edit it the way that I think is the best and has the best cuts and has the best pacing, this is really like a 45-second video. And you
Yeah.
start to see that from the beginning. So then you start to be like, so how am I going to stretch? How am I going to get that up to a minute or a minute 5 and
Yeah.
then pull it back down? But you're not really thinking about it in a sense of like, well, I need whatever. I need a different music, or I need a different such and such to appeal to a Facebook viewer versus a YouTube viewer. I think all that's already outdated. Like some of these strategies that people are still kind of pushing out there, like in the big agency world, I think have started to become irrelevant because basically everyone has adopted the TikTok style interest graph algorithm. And at this point, like your users are your users, and it's not nearly as separated on those traditional, like generational platform things. I mean, I know a ton of 55 to 65-year-old guys who are in automotive or farmers or like pick whatever blue collar, trade you want, and they're watching TikTok at night.
Yeah.
Like these are, like it's just there's not as much of that, like, well, TikTok's for the young people. Like, well, it is, but it's also
Yeah.
just for people who like vertical videos. And
Yeah.
truthfully, at this point, that's pretty much everybody.
Yep.
So yeah, go ahead.
No,
Sorry.
no. I was just gonna say if you're posting somewhere and you're getting good engagement, you will find your audience on different platforms.
Right.
Yeah. If like, yeah, me cutting it a little bit shorter for Facebook and YouTube, that's only to further the algorithm or like boost watch time. And if you're connecting with an audience on a certain platform, you will connect on different platforms because there's everybody everywhere. I have found that I do connect more. Engagement is higher on Facebook because my demographic is more older, 45, 50-year-old demographic. And there's not as many people on TikTok, but there are still, like, my age group on TikTok would be 25 to 45, and then Facebook would be 35 to 55, I believe. And then YouTube's a little tough because there's a lot of younger people doing shorts and yeah, all that stuff. But there is still, I have found my 25 to 45 audience on YouTube. And so the algorithm will choose your demographic. And yeah, if you're looking to post on something, just post it everywhere. You'll find your demographic.
Don't overcomplicate it.
Mhm.
The editing's the hardest part, and
Mhm.
don't overcomplicate the editing process
Mhm.
because you're just going to bog yourself down and not
Yeah.
actually get the volume of content that
Mhm.
allows you to actually find your audience.
Correct.
That's been my experience at least. And we're trying to, you and I have talked a little off air, we would really like to help with some of this at Shed Geek, and be able to provide people with that strictly editing service. I mean, we're really cranking up you've probably heard us talk a little bit about it, but we're going to be having a new channel that is more of a consumer facing channel where we want the type of content like what you do, like what some of the shed hauler guys do. I think Shannon and I, kind of doing like the ride along behind the scenes with Shed Geek. We're always out on the road. We're always meeting people and having different adventures, and kind of putting all of that, all the good of the industry in front of people, because I don't think it's a secret that like the shed industry kind of gets a bad rap amongst consumers sometimes. It kind of gets that like used car salesman type of a like reputation, and like that's just not fair to all of the really great people who are in the industry. And so I think that being able to have a channel that maybe showcases all these things along with an editing engine, a group of people that are just able to really quickly, when you're staying in it all the time, you get better at it. You find those efficiencies, and that's what we're really trying to create here. So, for anyone out there who is kind of considering this, number one, go follow and watch Jeremy's videos, Pro Shed Builder. I think your Pro Shed Builder, like you managed to have that actual sort of handle across all platforms, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
Pro Shed Builder on the big four, which is Facebook and Instagram, of course, YouTube and TikTok. So first and foremost, go and watch Jeremy Pro Shed Builder's videos, and get a feel for it. But then just start shooting, right? And reach out to us. Reach out to Shed Geek, and we are putting the mechanisms in place to allow, hopefully, for more people in the industry to be able to effectively capture video and put it to the customers and build that trust, and grow the industry, which is always our goal here at Shed Geek is for the whole industry to grow. And as Shannon always says, for all ships to rise with the tide. So, Jeremy, I know we're already past our cutoff here, and it's now getting into the evening out there in South Carolina. So I know it's dinner time, but man, thank you so much for joining me today and just making these things that are often intimidating, for people, making them just a little less. And I mean, you're so chill, like, and like your personality comes through so good on videos, and like it doesn't have to be this big scary thing. And I appreciate you so much for just presenting it in the way that it is, which is basically just do it. Just like everything in life.
Just do it. Stop overthinking it. Just do it.
Exactly.
One of the I want to give a shout out to the shed guy. The shed guy, he's the shed guy on TikTok. I think he has TikTok and YouTube. I forget his name now, but he's in Michigan. He's the guy I got the idea from. I kind of edited my videos. So, one other tip, find someone that's in your niche. Don't copy them word for word, but do something similar to them. Edit your videos somewhat like them. Try and figure it out like that. And that's what I did. He mainly does time-lapse videos with music to them. And so that's kind of what I started off with. And I found that for me, that was a bit boring in the editing process. Just I got bored editing them. So I was like, well,
that ADHD again.
I may as well start talking, trying to explain something, see what happens, keep me entertained at least.
Yeah.
No shade or saying his videos are boring, but I was just that the shed guy, Michigan, is the guy who I got my idea from, and just kind of did it in a way that like wasn't copying him, but like
Took the lessons.
Yeah, took the lessons, kind of edited how he did, figured out editing, and then just took it down my own path of talking to the camera. Yeah. So quick aside, but
Yeah,
yeah.
no, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, and obviously, very well deserved shout out anytime, whether it's literally in the sort of pure content creation like what you do, short form video,
Mhm.
whether it's, in podcasting or any of this media stuff, we always want to shout out the people who have kind of laid the foundation and who have contributed, to these forms of media, getting off the ground. So,
Mhm.
obviously in my case, it is Shannon, it's
Yeah.
the guy in the office behind me, and
Yeah.
so, um, we always want to keep those things in mind and be respectful in those ways. I
Mhm.
love it. Well, Jeremy, man, thank you so much. And we have to continue this dialogue. I already said, like, kind of talked about the plans for on the actual, potential trade association side. I would love your input on that. And also, as we kind of crank up this content engine, I would love if you would test us out and say, hey, these guys are either good and they're able to, they're able to take my raw video and man, they can crank it out and I can spend some time with the kids in the evening and whatever else,
Yeah.
and continue to be able to do that, and put us through a little bit of a test. I think that would be awesome. And then goes without saying, collaboration, anytime we get out to Carolina, be awesome to get you and Shannon, just kicking it around, goofing around, messing with building.
Yeah.
He'll be the
Yeah.
first to tell you he's done everything but build a shed.
Oh,
So
okay.
you could really goof on him pretty good in a video or whatever. So,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
but all that stuff would be awesome. But first and foremost, so nice to make your acquaintance. So nice to get to meet you. Like I said, I am a fan, and I will continue to be a fan. So count me in that 345 from now to the end.
For sure. I will do. I appreciate the support and yeah, having me on. It was really fun getting to know you.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Jeremy, and thanks everyone for listening. And join us next time for another episode of the Shed Geek Podcast. Today's Friday edition of the Shed Geek Podcast was brought to you by Shed Geek Marketing. If your company is looking to increase leads, strengthen your brand presence, improve digital visibility, or simply stop wasting money on marketing that doesn't work, you're in luck. Shed Geek Marketing was built specifically for this industry and has assembled the absolute best providers from across the country that, bottom line, bring you the results. From dealer startups to nationwide manufacturers, we help businesses connect better, market smarter, and grow with intention. Interested in becoming a title sponsor of the Shed Geek Podcast or advertising across the Shed Geek Media Network? Reach out today at info@shedgeek.com and ask for the 2026 Shed Geek Media Kit. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time right here on the Shed Geek Podcast.